get himself back into the fight. For now, ultimate applied by Mantis, able to at least step out onto the site, but behind there's been some players left out to pasture, and now the response coming in from the side of Rejects. They've got their own Mantis ult and now ready to fight inside it. That damage completely mitigated, ultimate through, trying to get the res. Was there anyone to bring back, or were they out of range? It doesn't find anything nonetheless. He ends up rezzing himself. Mantis comes back into play, and again, Rejects not giving up on this site. Legendary, you hear it, the Galactic Legend is in play somehow. Happy, able to dance in and out of these fights without, I don't think he even took damage, let alone got healed it back up. He's just being given free reign on the Star-Lord right now. It's walking them back to their spawn. There's nothing they can do except tuck in and pray that their teammates have them covered.
He's got to be a little bit more careful at the moment because he's already had that team up utilized. There's 60 seconds before he can bring himself back to life once again, but being given the bubble and so much more, it seems like that there was a reason that many teams feared to play against this Star-Lord combination alongside the Adam Warlock. Rejects this time look to try and take them on, and as of right now it's not been going the best. A large amount of damage from Happy, and even gets out of there for free. Now we're gonna have that death raining down from above already. A double connection. That is already an immediate reset that has to come through for the opponents.
Yep, no chance to stick around and take that fight. And even falling back, they're being tagged up. Luckily, safely out of there. I say that and I expect them to get a kill almost immediately, but... Well, Happy's going. Happy is sending it in. Look at that movement on the way back out as well. Such a hard target to hit. We've seen it from his POV, but I think they're in third person. Seen it from the perspective of ASDF. It's even nicer.
Down to potentially their last go at this. 45 seconds left on the clock to even battle for that first point. Immediately, you're going to see the usage of that Eternal Bond. An attempt was there to try and deny it, but the attempt wasn't successful. That will leave those heals down on the site for them to try and battle around. Even still, though, Fun is the one doing the work in combination with ASD. That's another pickup, and as the res is attempted to come through, are they going to be able to actually stick the landing? It seems like they will. They have the majority of their players back up and healed. That could be the ult that completely changes this fight. In fact, I think it is. November 24 has been able to find one with that Galactic Legend, but even still fighting tooth and nail. The revival of a couple has come through on the other side as well, bringing this one back to a more level scenario. Still yet to even get past that first wedge, but they now do start to clear things a little bit more.
Uh-oh, 80% unhappy. The defense is making their way back. They've been contesting this whole time. Magneto steps back in, but this time he might go down so desperately low, and he will be dropped indeed. Someone needs to step in, and they will not get there on time, despite a big farm from that defensive side, just being a couple seconds, a few shots away from the big ultimates that could have turned the tide. They're eliminated before that can come through, and that payload starts to move.
I think that really was the guy is on the Adam Warlock, just being able to bring his teammates back from what seemed to be a pretty much impossible scenario. And I believe also having the Soul Bond, because without it pretty much is just bringing them back on 1 HP to be slaughtered again.
Yeah, the Soul Bond is always necessary in that situation. Or you have like an Invisible Woman ult or something like that, but unless there's a serious ultimate in play, you'd be in trouble. Here goes the Eye of Agamotto, the Soul Bond instantly to pump them all back up to full HP. Soul Resurgence used by Mantis as well. Lots of help coming in. Goddess of Death up top. The defense desperately trying to deal with this push, but they will not be able to stop them with that ultimate. Instead, it's the attack side managing to group back up, avoid those ults that were put into play, but their own ones didn't find the value they needed. They're still not setting foot on that payload. There's still an army between them and their objective. There's still a res ult for Neko. There's still NLE sitting around. Every which healer you want. And the ultimate online to give them that little bit of protection. They may need it as this push comes to shove, and it's Happy from up top that's dealing the damage. Still, the attack side, they haven't fully given up the choke point. That's what this dive is for. Happy with a little bit more. Eternal Bond comes in, a desperate attempt to keep control over this choke point, and it does seem to be working, certainly for NLE. He's found a couple of pieces of damage, kept his teammates alive, and as a result, the picks come flooding in.
It's again a mass role switch for multiple players. We've seen Gaia switch up to play that strategist, and the same for NLE, the star Vanguard in the last map, not having to play the Strange in this one. But now it's almost back to square one. Sure, you've pushed the point at least a little bit further, but it's making it back up that ramp again. 15 seconds. This could be the last attempt if they don't manage to get that little bit further. Galactic Legend alongside the Eye of the Anubis. It's done so much damage already. In fact, a chance to potentially clear out some. The Meteor being utilized in an attempt to target those strategists, but immediately there'll be a response. The defenders, though, are doing fantastic work. Happy now. Again, a response with that Galactic Legend, and that just might be it. He's eventually eliminated from play, but it won't matter. The damage was done. The payload was stopped. And that will only be the first point taken for the side of Reject.
Wow. That was one hell of a battle right there in the choke point. And I think we saw exactly what you highlighted earlier on, Tom. Euphoria's ability to read the ultimates of their opponents, wait them out. We see everything thrown at that payload from the side of Rejects. And then afterwards, Happy comes in with the Galactic Legend. That's it. He was just hiding away, waiting for the Galactic Legend on the other side to run out, waiting for Hippopotamus's ultimate to go as well. So there was no more Eternal Bond. There was no more heal. And at that point, it was as free as it comes. Combined with the fact that they don't have a chance to step back and wait it out, they have to go. Have to get on the payload right here and now. Your tanks in, your healers have to step forward with them. And that leaves them wide open for Galactic Legend. Really nice ult usage, nice read. And now, a nice position that they find themselves in. Not too much of a push needed to bring this grand final all the way to the 7th map, to push us to a 3-3 scoreline, and to put Rejects in a position that mentally will be hard to bounce back from.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that we're here in the first place with the way that those first few maps went, with the clutch capability of the players on the Reject side. But it seems like Euphoria have woken up just when it was necessary with a really solid defensive side. They now look to try and man the attack themselves. Once again, we're seeing that Squirrel Girl put into play to just try and send down constant damage. But it seems the idea from the attack in this stance is to try and wrap around, fight for that high ground once again.
Yeah, they've got some high ground of their own to fight from now, breaking open that wall. It's a good position to play from, just trading blows back and forth down on the site. Ritasuko could be in a bit of trouble now. There's no safe angle to look at with the shield. And indeed, the shield is already gone. Time to fall fully back. And with that, the capture begins. That's not acceptable. Somebody needs to step down and interrupt it, and that's exactly what goes in. It's Ritasuko to put boots on the site. JT coming here to try to back him up. We've already almost got one tick of the point completed. If there's a wipe here, there's no chance to get back in on time. Really, look at the HP. There's going to be a wipe. There's going to be a wipe very soon, in fact, especially if this is allowed to continue. It's, oh my goodness, another for ASD. How can he just walk around back in another? Well, yeah, get the res in just so he can have another kill on the stat line. Eliminations galore, and the payload already
so fast,
coming up on halfway before they get that fight in with 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, it seemed like the plan was for Ritasuko to sort of like just basically stop them taking it, and everybody else had to do the damage. Unfortunately, they didn't. He gets overwhelmed, and it's almost a free sight. Look, they are already halfway to where they need to be to close out this map in style, make it look easy, make it look like yesterday, where they were running riot versus this Reject squad. And guess what? They've got some of the ults to back them up alongside a Galactic Legend put in. And although initially it didn't seem like it was going to do a crazy amount of damage, that's already 2 of the strategists down now. November 24 can bring himself back, but at the same time, we've seen the usage of that Eternal Bond just to give them that extra little bit of life, that extra little bit of space, and they are getting closer and closer to closing this out and evening things up within a matter of seconds. In fact, Mitch, I don't even think there's anybody here to resist in time. They're going to try and utilize the Eternal Bomb, but it wasn't even close.
2, 1.
Not even remotely, Tom. You couldn't doubt it for a second. And even if that ult comes in, you really think the whole team's joining in time? That one put to bed with a victory for the side of Euphoria. A big game from Happy as well. This is now starting to look scary. We've gone from a 3-0 start for the side of Rejects with domination on every map. We said it was incredible to even imagine that we were considering Euphoria the favorites, considering what Rejects were able to do in those first 3 maps. But now a completely different game sits ahead of us. And who ends up taking it on the final map, I have absolutely no idea.